about getting the high school students. You guys are so energetic. Of course, we're a little old to be going to them this week. You're kind of ready to get over the hill, and I know the youth is where it is, and I'm kind of ready to turn it over to the youth. But how do we get to them through the schools? It seems like we're hardly get to them.
That's the idea of going out and grabbing youth. I mean, it's not going through door to door, but it's trying to make it easy. We've taken our own time and money and made this political action committee, GOP 2.0. And the idea of it, especially in New England, guys, these borders that are built up, it's almost like a stone wall when you go across all the way from here, 30 minutes to Boston, 20 minutes, out to Connecticut. There's no reason why we can't have, youth going across state lines. So what we did was build this GOP 2.0 website. And if you take a look at it, it's a different look and feel than your traditional political activism site.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed,
that takes you to the
whatever you
death
want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth. Nothing
So
more.
it's a matrix video, but what we're doing is making it easy. It's one URL address. You say, hey, are you guys interested in paying taxes when you grow up? No. Well, I've got some people that are across the nation, and you deliver them to that web address. That's now an electronic Rolodex that enables people to share information.
But I don't mean that. It's getting to that. It's like there's a wall. The schools are holding a wall. Some of the parents are holding a wall. How do we break that wall to get to the young kids? They want it. I talk to the kids, but my mom and dad won't let me do this, or the teachers won't. I can't speak up in class. How do we get to them?
Being a high schooler, I've been gotten to many sites growing up through the ages, and I think that they could find, this site. The idea is, try and see if you can find a couple that'll start a Young Republicans Club. We had 3 guys that were passing out flyers all night 2 weeks ago. They came out to the east side of Providence with us, and they were active. The mom and dad dropped them off for 2 hours. You know what? They were in a safe environment, but we actually, interacted with them. So the idea is, I think, going to high schools and saying, I want to be the actual sponsor for Young Republicans Club in this high school. And there's no reason with a couple kids that get involved, that's a way to really start to break down that barrier into the high school.
And by doing so, when you get these young kids to start working with each other, they build a support organization where they'll start to stand up more often, and they'll really start to stand up to their teachers and start to give out a different opinion than the liberal agenda that the teachers are pretty much throwing down their throats at all times. Thus increasing our numbers and getting kids from being indoctrinated to letting them think for themselves. And you really have to find a kid who's willing to stand up, take the heat, start that organization, and get the ball rolling. And then from that point on, it will grow. Other kids will see that this kid is standing up, that he's being strong. They'll stand with him. It's just the process of actually finding a kid who will do that. It's not easy, but you have to do it.
We have a couple of questions back here. We'll keep moving around.
Real quick, Dan Riley, I'm the candidate for the seat ownership in Vermont right now. I spent a little bit of time talking with Brittany last night. I was on the news and a half an hour talking with her. We walked away feeling energized. To your question, I couldn't agree with you more. There's sort of that between how we reach out to the youth. And I think maybe if we ask the question in a different way, and that's the ask now, what brought you to the Republican Party? How do you, because we put that technology out there, we put that easy access to you out there for you. Why did you come to us?
I think my biggest involvement happened with Dana that came in here all the way from Utah. It was a young Republican meeting at Lake Forest High School just north of Chicago. I had some ideas, and Grandpa Lund had a lot to do with that too, riding the back of his caddy in Boca Raton listening to Rush when I was growing up. But I never had, that was great. I was interested, and I can tell you guys, when I was in probably 6th grade reading my first book report, See, I Told You So by Rush, I thought she was going to have a coronary when I was telling this to the class. I didn't have any output, and the question you just asked, how do we get involved? There needs to be a landing pad. And it was Lake Forest High School's Young Republicans. Shoot, there's probably 6 or 7 of us when we started, and we built that, grew up day by day. And you know, Dana is the one that really got me involved today.
Go ahead.
I'll speak to.
It's going to be the last time. Let me make one thing. That staff just came in, speaking to young people. Someone's getting married in this room in an hour and a half. So they need unless you wanted to store someone's entire life, that's a question. No question.
Well, I am here to help. What brought me to the Republicans and what kept me truly involved was, people coming out and finding me. I became really involved, one, because of my grandmother, but also because, people like Croydon Wood, who was our state representative at the time, and college Republicans came in and they helped me out, and we were able to go to all their, I was able to go to all their college Republican meetings, even though I was in high school. And my state representative brought me to a whole bunch of different events. She comped me, I was able to go to, so instead of me being able to just like sit at home, I was able to go to these big events, and she introduced me to everyone that she knew, and I was able to find out how to become more involved. And that's how you get youth involved. You find them, you sponsor them, you take them to all this, you come to all your events, and you introduce them to more people so that they do want to become more involved, and they do become a big voice in that party. In my group, we had about 20 some odd kids by at the end of November, and a lot of them, I still keep in touch with a bunch of them, and they're all super active. One is now out in Alexandria, Virginia, and she's the head of elections in DC. So you work by one little group, we became like a huge influence across the country. So high school groups really do work.
We are going to shut down. I got some instructions for tomorrow. Brittany has one last word, and I know you got people waiting, but I can't. We've got to clear out of the room. Brittany, go ahead.
Well, I know a lot of you probably still have questions and maybe don't know where to go and you want our help. Don't underestimate the power of enthusiasm and our excitement. We're all excited, ready to get out there. We want to help, and we want to help you. Please come up to us. We'd be happy to exchange information. We'd be happy to answer any more questions that you have.
And go to Brick Alley Pub tonight.
At Brick Alley Pub tonight for 8 o'clock.
Thank you.